What's up, everybody? I'm Ryan, and this is LHN Films. This video is going to be on my Stanley Cup playoff bracket for the bracket challenge. So starting off, the first series is Vegas versus Chicago. Vegas had better goals per game, goals against per game, and a better power play. Chicago, however, did have a better penalty kill. So, according to NHL.com here, Vegas has the statistical advantage, and I will agree with them on that. I think Vegas takes this one fairly easily. I know Chicago beat Edmonton, but Vegas is a whole different beast. They've got much better depth than Edmonton, a significantly better defense, and two significantly better goalies. I don't think the Blackhawks can come close to matching them. Mark Stone is going to be a huge problem for the Blackhawks. Edmonton didn't have anyone to stop Taves on defense, but the Golden Knights have some very good defensemen, guys like Schmidt and Theodore. So I think it's going to be a lot harder for Chicago to score. I think they still will be able to score, but I think Vegas is going to have the better offense in this series, and I think since their defense and goaltending is better, I think they take it. Next one, we've got Colorado versus Arizona. Colorado scored more goals per game, but Arizona actually had a better goals against per game, plus better power play and penalty kill. But I gotta go Colorado in this one. Their offense is just so good. They have so much depth. Mckinnon is, in my opinion, the second best player in the NHL, and he's pretty much unstoppable. Plus, they've got so much depth. Their bottom six, they've got Donskoy, Burakovsky, and Nichushkin, and then that top line of McKinnon, Rantanen, and Landeskog is one of the best in the NHL. Kadri's very good as well. Their defense, I actually like Arizona's defense a little bit better. Makar's good, Girard's good. They have a bunch of guys that are solid but not great. Arizona's got Ekman-Larsson and Chychrun, who are both very good. Hjalmarsson's always great in the playoffs. So I think Arizona is a little bit deeper on D. And I also like Kemper in goal a lot better than either Grubauer or Francouz. Kemper was basically unbeatable against Nashville. He's definitely going to have more of a challenge with the Colorado offense. I think this should be a good series, but Colorado will take it. And in this one, we've got Dallas and Calgary. So, Calgary has better goals per game. Dallas has better goals against per game. Calgary has the better special teams. This one, I think it's going to be really close. I think these teams are quite similar, but I'm going to go with the Dallas Stars. I think on forward, they match up so evenly. I think, okay, if Sagan's out, I think Calgary actually does win it, but I think Sagan will be back. So we'll see what the status of Sagan is. That's going to be very important. But I think Sagan's a better first-line center than Monahan. Jamie Benn and Matthew Tkachuk are both quite similar. I'd take Radulov over Lindholm. I'd give Radulov that slight edge. On defense, it's very even. Giordano and Heiskanen, I think, are quite even players. Klingberg could be a big factor in this series if he plays well. And then goaltending, either Bishop or Khudobin against Talbot. I know that Talbot was great against Winnipeg, but I don't know if he'll be that good again against Dallas. And Khudobin and Bishop have both been so good this year that I think Calgary's going to have a lot harder time scoring. Calgary did look dominant against Winnipeg, but after Scheifele and Laine were out, Winnipeg was not a deep team, so Winnipeg really had no chance of winning that. I was actually surprised that Winnipeg even won a game after that. But I think it's going to be a lot harder for Calgary to score on Dallas. So I'm giving the Stars a slight edge. St. Louis and Vancouver. We'll see if this will load right here. There we go. So Vancouver had a slightly better goals per game. The Blues had a way better goals against per game. The Blues had a slightly better power play, and Vancouver had a slightly better penalty kill. The defending Stanley Cup champion Blues are going to lose in the first round this year. I am taking the Vancouver Canucks. St. Louis just looked terrible in the play-ins. Or in the round robin, excuse me. I am very concerned about them. If you play like that, there's not a single team in the NHL that they would lose to. Binnington didn't look that good. And that team last year to win that cup relied heavily on Binnington. So I'm giving Vancouver the edge in goal. Markstrom is quite good, especially with how St. Louis scores. They're not a team that gets a ton of high danger chances, and Markstrom I think is very good at stopping the high danger chances, and that's St. Louis is good on converting on them. But Markstrom might be prone to an easy mistake, but I think he's better than Binnington. On offense, St. Louis has Ryan O'Reilly, but I like Vancouver's star power better with Pettersson, Miller, and Besser. However, if Toffoli comes back and they play him on the top line instead of Besser, St. Louis is going to win the series. Vancouver needs to play Besser on that top line if they want to win and have that top line play quite well. Especially the way that the play-in rounds were officiated. I think if it was officiated like a normal Stanley Cup, that St. Louis takes it, but penalties were being called, so St. Louis is going to be having a tougher time being intimidating and physical. On defense, I like St. Louis's defense better for sure, though, with Pietrangelo and Dunn and Parayko. Vancouver's defense is just okay. Quinn Hughes is phenomenal, but after that, it's just okay. But I think Vancouver's depth on offense is a little bit better. I think their star power on offense is a little bit better, so I think that's why they will end up winning the series, as well as Markstrom will play well. So, on the East, we have Philadelphia against Montreal. So you see the key factors here according to NHL.com. Philadelphia has the edge in everything, and I think they're going to take it. Carey Price was great against Pittsburgh, but I don't think he can keep it up against Philadelphia. Philadelphia looked great in the round robin. I think they're going to continue playing great. Montreal, I just don't think can match up to them, though we shouldn't be doubting them after they took out Pittsburgh, but I'm going to doubt them anyways. Couturier is one of the best centers in the league. Carter Hart's great, and overall Philly is just on fire right now. I think they take it. Tampa Bay and Columbus. Tampa had the better offense and goals per game by quite a bit. Columbus had a slightly better goals against per game. Tampa had a way better power play, and Columbus had a very slightly better penalty kill. I'm going to have to go with the Tampa Bay Lightning in this one. I think they get revenge after what happened this year. They're not going to be taking the Blue Jackets lightly. You just look at their rosters, even with Stamkos out and possibly Hedman out as well. Tampa has significantly more star power than Columbus. And Columbus was able to score on a weak Toronto defense, but Tampa Bay's defense is significantly better. With Hedman, if he's out, you'll expect to see more minutes from McDonough and Sergachev. I think they'll both play really well. On offense, Columbus is going to have to stop Point and Kucherov, which is not an easy task. Apparently Point played with a slight injury all year. He's fully healed now, so I expect him to play very well. I just think Tampa overall is just a significantly deeper team. They both have very good defenses. Tampa definitely has the better offense. Goaltending, if Vasilevsky plays at his best, he's better. But the way Korpisalo looked, he could definitely steal a series. I think it's going to be a quite tight series, but I give Tampa the slight edge. So Washington and the New York Islanders. So Washington had a better goals per game. The Islanders had a better goals against per game. And Washington was the better team on special teams. We've got Trotz against his old team, and I think he's going to know all of the Capitals' secrets. So I am going to take the New York Islanders in this one. I think the Capitals are back to their old ways where they choke in the playoffs. They didn't look that great in the round robin, while the Islanders looked very good against the Panthers. Offense, I think the Capitals definitely have the better offense. Ovechkin's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, goal scorer of all time. Plus Backstrom, Kuznetsov, Oshie, they're very deep on offense. On defense, however, with the possibility of John Carlson being out, that hurts Washington a ton with the season that he had. The Islanders' defense is so solid with Taves, Pelech, Pollock. It's just so good. Varlamov is the main reason why I think the Islanders win this series in their structure. That defense is so good in front of him, and he can make a good save, a big save if needed, while Holtby has kind of struggled the past 2 seasons, so I don't really have that much faith in him. So I think it comes down to the Islanders' defense playing well and them being opportunistic. They've got some good goal scorers too, with Lee and Beauvillier played very well. Barzal's a great playmaker, so I think the Islanders will take that. So Boston and Carolina. So as you see here, Boston leads in every key factor here with goals, goals against, power play, and penalty kill. Boston did win the President's Trophy in the regular season, but I gotta take the Carolina Hurricanes. Even though Boston swept them last year, I can't not take the Hurricanes in this one. They looked so dominant against the Rangers. They're so deep on defense. Trevor Van Riemsdyk on any other NHL team is in the top 6. With Carolina, he's number 9. That's just ridiculous. Carolina's depth on defense is the best in the NHL, but their offense is very, very good as well. We all saw what that top line did of Aho, Teravainen, and Svechnikov, how dominant they were. I think they're going to continue that. In goal, Mrazek and Reimer both look solid in the play-in. I have more faith in Rask over them, but I think their goaltending will play good enough, as I believe Carolina has the better offense and defense. Boston's top line has to get going. They were not that great in the round robin. Overall, Boston as a team, they just didn't look ready to play in the round robin. And the way Carolina looked compared to how Boston looked, I couldn't not pick Carolina. So for the second round, we've got Vegas and Vancouver. I think Vegas just dominates in this one. I don't really give Vancouver much of a chance here. They cannot match up with this Vegas Golden Knights team. Vancouver had slightly better goals per game. Vegas had a better goals against. Vancouver was the better team on special teams. But the way Vegas can just dominate 5-on-5 play, Vancouver will not stand a chance against that. Mark Stone, again, I think he's one of the best wingers in the NHL. Can help shut down a guy like either Besser or Pettersson. He can help shut down that line. I mean, Vegas' second line of Smith, Marchessault, and Carlson is just fantastic. That when they were the first line, they brought Vegas to the Cup Final. So as a second line, that just shows you how good an offense that they have. I don't think Vancouver's defense can match up. Goaltending, I'd say, is a wash. Markstrom's great, but Fleury and Leonard are also great. But with Vegas' depth, I have to give it to him. Colorado-Dallas, I think Colorado takes it. Once again, their offense is just fantastic. Dallas is a team that struggles to score goals sometimes. Colorado does not struggle at all to score goals. On defense, I think Dallas is the slightly better defensive team. Goals per game goes to Colorado. The penalty kill goes to Colorado, but goals against per game goes to Dallas, and power play goes to Dallas. That's one of the things about the Avalanche. If they can get their power play going with how good they are 5-on-5, they'll be unstoppable. I think Dallas has the edge in goal with Khudobin or Bishop, but Grubauer and Francouz are both good goaltenders as well. I don't think that's what this series will come down to. I think it'll come down to the Avalanche offense just dominating. So Philadelphia in New York, I have to go with the Philadelphia Flyers. They are just on fire. They lead in every key factor here. This time I think it'll be a lot harder for the Islanders to score. Carter Hart is phenomenal in goal. The Flyers' top line, I think, will be able to solve the Islanders' defense. I think that's one of the best lines in the league with Couturier, Voracek, and Giroux. I think a lot of people forget how good Giroux still is, and the Flyers were so dominant in that round robin. I had to put them over the Islanders, though I think it should be a good series. Tampa Bay and Carolina. I've had a very tough time deciding in this one. At this point, I'm just going to assume that Stamkos and Hedman are both back, so I will take the Lightning. However, if those guys aren't back, Carolina will take this series. Tampa had better goals for per game and against. They had a better power play, while Carolina had a better penalty kill. And I keep saying how great the Carolina defense is. Tampa Bay, I think, is the one defense that can match up to them. Carolina's might be slightly better. Tampa's might be slightly better. It's very close. When you look at the offenses, both teams just have sick top lines. I think they kind of wash out. They'll both be very effective, but it's going to come down to the bottom 9 forwards for both teams, and that's where I like Tampa Bay better. I also like Vasilevsky over Mrazek and Reimer. That will be a big factor in the series, I believe, so I give Tampa the slight edge. Should be a fun one, though. So now Vegas and Colorado. This is another one I just can't decide. I think it's going 7 games. I'm picking the Colorado Avalanche. I think it's going to come down to Nathan McKinnon versus Mark Stone, so that's pretty hard to choose from. But McKinnon is just so offensively talented. Then that top line against the Vegas top line with Stone and Pacioretty on it, it's going to be a battle. Kadri versus William Karlsson on the second lines will be a good battle. Makar versus Theodore is going to be a good battle. Both these teams are so good 5-on-5. It's going to be a super fast-paced series, and I'm very excited. I do hope that's who is battling it out in the conference finals. So I give the Avalanche a slight edge, but I think it's going 7. In Philly and Tampa Bay, another one. It's probably going 7 games. Both these teams are just incredible. I think I gotta go with Tampa Bay, though. I don't think on paper any team can quite match up to Tampa Bay. First line center battle of Point against Couturier is going to be so fun to watch. I think it comes down to defensive depth, though. I think Vasilevsky and Hart are 2 of the best goalies in the league, so it's not going to come down to them. I think they both play great. Both teams have great top lines and very good forward depth. But I like Tampa Bay's defensive depth a little bit better. After Provorov for the Flyers, it's still very good, but I don't think it quite matches up to Tampa Bay, where they've got Sergachev, McDonough, and Shattenkirk. I don't think it's quite up to that level. I could see this series also going to 7 games. So for the Stanley Cup Final, we have the Colorado Avalanche and the Tampa Bay Lightning. I saw these two teams play in person last year, and it was one of the most fast-paced, intense games I've ever seen, and that was just the regular season. Tampa Bay won that game, and I think they win the Stanley Cup this year. They're just such a deep team. This time we'll have a battle of Point versus McKinnon. I love looking at the first-line center battles. Should be a good one. Both these teams are so talented. 2 of the best offenses in the NHL. I like Tampa Bay's defense better than the Avalanche once again, and I like Vasilevsky in goal over either Francouz or Grubauer. It should be a high-flying series. I think the Avalanche do have the better offense than Tampa, though. And if McKinnon seriously just goes off, the Avalanche could definitely take it. Enter goals. Let's see, how many goals do I think? I think if it goes 7, I'm going to go 37 goals in the Stanley Cup Final. Goals per game, Tampa Bay slightly ahead. Goals against per game, Colorado slightly ahead. Tampa Bay had the better power play, and Colorado the better penalty kill. All these stats, though, are pretty even. Other than the power play, Tampa has a decent edge, but I think playoff hockey comes down to 5-on-5. So here we go. I got to predict games here. I think Vegas over Chicago in 5, Colorado over Arizona in 6, Dallas over Calgary in 7, Vancouver over St. Louis in 6, Philadelphia over Montreal in 6, Tampa Bay over Columbus in 6. I like picking 6 apparently because I'm going again right here. I'm picking Carolina over Boston in 5. So that'll be my bracket. So hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.